Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of JMC EduTrends, a discussion that informs, inspires, and transcends. To all our first-time viewers, this program streams live on www.facebook.com/Jose College and on YouTube at JMC EduTrends. Don't forget to type in your comments and questions, send your emojis, click the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell so you would be notified of future discussions on JMC EduTrends. Without much delay, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the program host of today's discussion.
And hi everyone. Hi to all viewers out there. Thank you for joining us for this another segment of JMC EduTrends, which will definitely talk about one of the most relevant and concerned topics in this time of pandemic. So to formally start the program, let's have first an opening prayer to be led to us by our Guidance Center College Department facilitator, no other than Miss Relyn Hart Pumikpik.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this webinar. With this, may we humbly ask you to shower our speakers today of your greatest inspiration so that they may share the most of their knowledge, heart, and soul of their respective topics. May we also absorb the invaluable knowledge experiences and put it into practice what we may learn today. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions that might affect the parents, students, staff, faculty, alumni, and friends of Jose College. We pray that you bless all the committees in charge, that they may be able to fulfill their tasks responsibly, that the objectives that they have set may be all achieved. Your infinite blessings would mean the success of this webinar. May we be a living witnesses of your genuine love through the enactment of the knowledge acquired through this activity. We ask this in the name of our Lord and King Jesus Christ through your Son. Amen.
Amen. Hi, Ma'am Yan. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, good morning. I know everyone who's been watching already is very excited to learn something new today because yun nga sabi ko again, this topic will surely inform everyone, will surely inspire everyone, especially sa mga parents natin out there, and will transcend information and for you to be able to apply new strategies on how you will handle kids during online. So our webinar today entitled Parenting 101, Managing Our Kids Online. But before we start with the discussion, please let's have first a speech from our very own Integrated Basic Education Principal, no other than Mr. Alberto Bryan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Ariel.
Ayan, morning po.
On behalf of the founding president, Dr. Reverend Pastor Apollo C. Kibaloy, we would like to take this opportunity to welcome all the parents, teachers, guests, and students in this parenting webinar. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Success. The year 2020 has been a challenging year for all of us, yet we have stood strong and brave amidst the challenges. The pandemic has forced a new normal for us since March 2020. We have abruptly shifted all our activities virtually. This year, the pandemic COVID-19 is still unceasingly posing threat globally and has wrecked activities of various sectors. It has similarly caused to upsurge the anxiety level of parents on how their children can continuously learn while they are away from school. Amidst the unceasing threat of the COVID-19 pandemic, education goes on at Jose Maria College. True to its vision and mission of providing an assured, consistent, and quality education, JMC has prepared to showcase its flexibility when entangled in various situations beyond human control and intervention. Alongside with our preparations of providing awareness to the school community is to enhance the smooth implementation of the distance learning program. In JMC, we believe that education can be likened to a great big canvas, and we would like to our students to throw as much paint as they can on the canvas of their education. We appeal to the parents and teachers to value and uphold the importance of intrinsic motivation, even though we are having online classes. We have no doubt that the students or your children will value the importance of their education. They will make the most of the canvas of opportunity that this institution has to offer, and they will paint the goals that they wish to accomplish. Remain motivated in the classroom and inspired at home, then we will achieve their goals. Their education is sound, creative, and innovative here in Jose Maria College. Together with the help and collaboration of parents and teachers, this will become a reality. The teachers at JMC will take action and help the students to achieve academic, sporting, cultural, and lifelong learning. May we take this opportunity to thank the teachers for their continued professionalism, excellence, and dedication. It is the teachers' motivation in the online classroom that will help to create a year that is bright with embrace opportunities. Parents, you serve as the guiding post of your children. You are the source of hope and inspiration for them to tread the road of impossibilities, to dream big and someday to conquer the world. I would like to commend all the parents for their untiring efforts and noble acts to inspire their children. However, even more importantly, the students themselves will have to take action to further their education. They do not just merely sit back and expect the greater school community, teachers, and parents to do everything for them. They would somehow realize the importance of self motivation and be prepared to help themselves. This is our goal as we embrace the new normal. Let's continue to work together to help each other to be our best for the world. Once again, good morning.
Ayan, thank you so much, Mr. Brian Alberto, our IBED principal. Thank you so much once again, sir, for that very informative and very inspiring message. So right now, to share insights on how we can ensure playful, warm, and responsive interactions between children and their parents. So di ko na to patatagalin pa. So the guest speaker for today's webinar is a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Occupational Therapy in University of the Philippines, Manila, a graduate of Masters in Business Administration in the University of Immaculate Concepcion, Davao City, and worked before as a occupational therapy service provider partner in Hope in Life Therapy Center and in-house occupational therapist in Holy Child College of Davao. And right now she is a lecturer and clinical advisor in Davao Doctors College and a program manager in Advanced TheraCare Occupational Therapy Clinic. Please help me welcome Miss Vanessa Geniver Tan Ibanez. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. It's
Hi,
an
Ma'am
honor to
Vanessa.
be
Good
with
morning.
you this morning. So, good morning po sa
Morning
lahat
po.
ng parents, teachers, and guests. So, I hope your morning is going to be fruitful
Yeah.
and meaningful with me.
Yes. So, ayan. So, while Ma'am Vanessa is preparing, are you going to share your screen na po ba, ma'am? Or,
Yes, yes, sir. If you would allow me po.
yes, of course. Because I know everyone is really excited na to learn something new, especially mga parenting style natin in this time of pandemic. I know everyone is eager to know new strategies, and that's for sure. And I'm sure that our speakers is also ready to deliver all his knowledge, vast experiences sa mga viewers natin today. Ayan. I'll give you the floor, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. To all our listeners, I am an occupational therapist by profession. So it is a healthcare profession that uses meaningful activities to achieve health, wellness, role competence, and healthy participation in life. An OT can work with children and adults. But as for me, I work with children as I am a pediatric occupational therapist and their families to support performance of meaningful activities of their daily life in terms of what they're expected to do, need to do, and want to do at school, home, and in their community. I commonly see children with diagnoses such as ADHD and autism, but I also see a lot of children without diagnosis but have difficulty in coping with school related tasks such as handwriting, problems in social behaviors, anger management issues, self esteem issues, and many other factors that can affect their performance at school or any other social situations. This pandemic has brought a major shift in our lifestyle. Do you agree with me? And that resulted to stress, and for many, coping was more challenging. I empathize with all the parents. Please hang in there. This too shall pass. A lot has been said about how parents should handle their children in this period. And I'm sure all of you are trying your best and doing everything you can. For my presentation this morning, I would like to emphasize on operation, I would like you to emphasize on applying two areas that we commonly read about when we talk about parenting. Maybe for a lot of you here, you have been doing and practicing some of the points that I will be presenting, but you may feel that they're not that effective. Hopefully, after the presentation, you can identify what have you been doing right and which aspect we can improve. Are you ready? Okay. So for the presentation, it is divided into four parts. First, I would like to display the psychosocial development and learning expectations from preschool to school age children. This will also help parents understand why their children is behaving in such a way and why your child seem not to learn anything at school, okay, or in online class. I hope you can have more understanding, you can be more understanding, patient, and can also identify if your child would need professional help from other healthcare professionals. Second is to remind us on how this pandemic limited our opportunities of our children and how the environment changed to decrease or increase the resources for families and children. Third and Third is that these are the most useful ones that you can hopefully use. These are techniques that you can apply to your children that hopefully after the webinar ends, you can do it at home. And fourth is to remind you that there are some practical points that you can apply so that you can look after yourselves also, not only your children. Okay. So let's start with the skills review. So generally, this is looking at the developmental skills of your child. So the first stage, or well, actually, this is the second stage, early childhood. So the age range of children under this stage is 1 to 6 years old. But for our purposes, so since most of you here are parents of preschool children or preschool to grade school. So let's put it at 3 to 6 years old. For us occupational therapists, it is called the competency stage. As children begin to regulate their behaviors and refine their skills, fluctuations in behaviors may be observed as the child tries to assert himself. We can observe that their play is starting to progress to complex pretend, fantasy play, dramatic construction, and pre-games with rules. At this stage, a child learns to relate emotionally to parents, siblings, and others. So this is still an emerging skill. And others, and they're starting to distinguish right and wrong depending on what the parents taught them. Their cognitive ability or their ability to learn is at the pre-operational stage wherein language development is the hallmark. So this is the time that the child learns that things are represented with words, images, and pictures. At this stage, a child becomes more knowledgeable or skilled in using symbols. As a result, fantasy play, imaginative play, and a lot of pretend play emerges. Sometimes they will pretend that your chair is the unicorn or the broom is a sword, and then role playing is very obvious. Please, parents, give your child the opportunity to play pretend. Don't shame them or stop them from, being imaginative, taking on roles. If you can join them. So if your child is not able to do this, at 3 to 6 or 3 to 5 years old, you should be worried. You should consider having a developmental assessment. It is your responsibility as a parent. In this stage also, a child does not yet understand concrete logic, cannot mentally manipulate information, so don't expect them to calculate mentally. Fingers and using of actual objects when counting and adding may still be necessary, so don't lose it when your child is unable to calculate yet. Okay. So preschoolers are unable to take the point of view of other people. So comparing them to others to teach them good behaviors or asking them how would others feel if they do such and such may not be the best method to teach social behaviors. Most cited reference when describing a person's psychosocial development is Erik Erikson's theory. So at this stage, it's called initiative versus guilt, is this third stage of Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. During this stage, the children assert themselves more frequently through directing play and other social interaction. During this period, the primary feature involves the child regularly interacting with other children at school. But of course, pandemic happened, so this opportunity to interact and to direct play with other children is limited. So central to this stage is play. So since they're not with other children to play, they maybe some of them have siblings, some do not. Maybe we can play with maybe we can play with our children, right? So this provides the children the opportunity to explore their interpersonal skills through initiating activity. So the tendency is that they always invite you to play with them. Mommy, play with me. Daddy, play with me. I know most parents are tired. No, they have this work from home setup and all that, and then your child wants to play with you. Before you get angry or before you dismiss them, please understand that they are going through this level and you should be happy that they are going through this level. But for many parents that I've seen in the clinic, um, their children doesn't, it takes a while before their child goes through this pretend play level. Okay. So children begin to plan activities, make up games, and initiate activities with others. So if you're the person at home, they will invite you to play with them. So if given this opportunity, a child in this stage develop a sense of initiative and feel secure in their ability to lead others and make decisions. And that has an impact when they become adults. Okay, and when they're older. Okay. But when these opportunities are crushed, may it be through criticism or too much control of parents, children develop a sense of guilt. And a child will often overstep the mark in this forcefulness. And the danger is that parents will tend to punish the child and restrict his initiatives. Okay, so it is at this stage that the child will begin to ask many questions as his thirst for knowledge grows. If the parents treat the child's question as trivial, nuisance, or embarrassing, or other aspects of their behavior as threatening, the child may feel the sense of guilt. So being a nuisance. So adults around this child should think twice before putting off a conversation initiated by a preschooler. So please engage with your child. Okay. Too much guilt can make the child slow to interact with others, maybe inhibit their creativity, and of course, the child would not know how to exercise self control and may not develop conscience. So, a healthy balance between initiative and guilt is important because success in this stage will lead to the virtue of purpose. So, well, failure results in a sense of guilt, which can prevent the child from thriving. So the tendency is that if you keep on controlling your child at this stage, you keep on putting off the conversation, their initiative that they made, they will not thrive anymore. So magtataka ka pagdating ng elementary, pagdating ng higher years, parang ayaw na nila mag-try. Ayaw nila mag-try. So maybe you should look back on how we treat them when they were at preschool. Okay. The next stage is school age. Okay, this is called the achievement stage. Okay, for us OT, this is an achievement stage. When children refine their skills and become proficient and is concerned with how one should accomplish a task properly. So, may tendency na sila na, am I doing this right? Am I correct? Am I doing a good job? Yan. So, yung mga ganyan, early. So, student role is emphasized, develops reading, writing, calculating. So, around 7 years old, this is around 7 to 11 years old. Some reference would say 7 to 12 years old, but for for our purposes, let's try 7 to 12. Okay, so reading, calculating, can think logically about concrete events, learns about the application of rules. So this is the time that you can be really strict with your rules, but will struggle with abstract ideas like hope, love, betrayal. So yung mga ganyang concept, hindi pa nila yung masyadong makuha. So inductive reasoning, logic, or understanding patterns, and using patterns to predict what's next, what's coming, what will happen next is already exhibited at this stage. Now, this is why it is important that you have to be very consistent with your rules and your expectations. Okay. So expected to be more independent in self-care. So I know a lot of like 7-year-olds, 8 years old kids are not yet independent. Some no. So maybe this is the time that you have to think about, teaching them how to be more independent. Develop instrumental activities of daily living such as doing chores, identify social roles, beginning to develop self-awareness and identity. School-age children are able to understand that other people have their own thoughts. Okay, kids at this point are aware that other people have unique perspective. So they kind of try to understand what other people are already thinking, but might not yet be able to guess exactly how and what the other person is experiencing or thinking. So when you want to describe that you're like upset, disappointed, it's not nice or it doesn't help if you just get angry or just show them you're irritable. So you really have to tell them exactly how you feel. Or will you silent treatment? Some parents will do silent treatment and then the child is left hanging, doesn't know why is my mom not noticing me or why is my mom ignoring me. So you have to tell them why, and then if that's your discipline that you ignore them when they're misbehaving, they have to know why you're doing it. Okay, so you have to be like exactly tell them what's happening. Not just all of a sudden bigla lang kayo nag-silent treatment. Okay. So we have to remember that children younger than 7 years old may not be able to understand adult issues. So it is better not to talk about it. Just go straight to your expectations to them and rules. And there's no need to explain too much, okay, to them kasi they're not yet they cannot understand this. So you would look like somebody like keep on talking, yapping, and you don't make sense to them. So now school age children at this stage now 7 to 12 or 7 to 11 may be able to understand your emotions and your actions, your struggles, and would understand how their actions affect other people. So when your school age child is showing difficulty what understanding what others feel, they may need help. Okay, so they may not exhibit other delays, but when they come like 7 to 10 years old, 7 to 10 years old, they don't know how to make friends. Even if you tell them the consequence of their action, they still don't get it. They keep on repeating it. So they might need help. Okay, I have one kid right now without any diagnosis. He was not diagnosed. I mean, it's not because the mom did not bring him to the doctor. It's just there's no diagnosis for him. He's at 9 years old. He has difficulty understanding why he can't be friends with his sister's friends. And he is having a hard time establishing and maintaining friends as he cannot maintain a conversation that may interest the person he is talking to. So he has a problem in perspective taking and understanding what other people are thinking and feeling. So this skill is actually emerging around 7 years old. So he's already 9, and he lacks skills in perspective taking. There now the friendship building skill is suffering. So parang hindi kasi napansin, or akala natin matututunan ng lahat ng mga bata. So we have to be really observant with our children. So that's why I wanted to run through with this, with the expectations in each area or each stage, so that sometimes we're frustrated with our children, no, but um the behavior is the source of that behavior is actually coming from somewhere. It's either they lack skills. It's rare that they just want to misbehave. It's most likely there is a missing skill that makes them unable to understand your emotion, makes them unable to change their behavior. After so many lectures, after so many consequences that you gave them, they still don't get it. Okay. So yeah. And then in Eric Erickson's theory, stage ages 5 to 12, industry competence versus inferiority. Teachers begin to take an important role in the child's life as they teach the child specific skills. But these days, we're not so sure because the teacher is not physically present. So it's the parents who are really teaching them. So some parents hire, I know some parents would hire tutor to teach their children because they don't have time or they don't know. I mean, they forgot already because it's been a long time since they they imagine you have to remember what you studied, or you have to study again to tutor your child. So some of them would, hire a tutor. Some of you would hire tutor, and some of you will take on the role of the teacher. So sa inyo nakasentro yung buhay ng bata, sa teacher. Kasi yun ang pinaka-importante, because this is the time that they, refine their skills and learn to read, write, calculate, and all those things. So, and also at this point, the child's peer group is significant. As this will become a major source of the child's self-esteem. Okay, so child now feels the need to win approval by demonstrating specific competencies that are valued by society and begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishments. So without classmates physically present, it is hard. So one of my kids that I'm seeing right now, he didn't have friends and he cannot engage in class because they have this group chat. And he can't chat, he cannot engage in conversation because he cannot spell. Okay, he is already 10 years old. He cannot spell. So, like if you see him for like you when you meet him, he's so madaldal, he's so talkative, he's so engaging. But virtually, he cannot engage because he cannot spell. Okay, he cannot write his thoughts. So he's starting to have negative emotions, and now he thinks that he now begins to realize the limitations of the effect of his limitations. So he's starting now to experience self-confidence issues and low self-esteem. So that's what we're working on right now, so that he will regain his drive to make friends again. And the cause of it is just the lack of ability to spell, okay, and write his thoughts. So if children are encouraged and reinforced to their initiative, they begin to feel, industrious or competent and feel confident in their ability to achieve goals. So if this initiative is not encouraged, it is restricted by parents or teacher, then the child begins to feel inferior. So doubting his own abilities and therefore may not reach his full potential. So if the child cannot develop a specific skill that they feel the society is demanding it, then they may develop a sense of inferiority. So at this time, dapat sensitive na yung parents kung ano yung lacking skills ng anak nila. Kasi that's probably the source of, lack of self-confidence or parang feeling inferior. And that feeling of inferiority can manifest into something else. Some of the students would bully others. Some of the children will just not do their home chores, will act up, will you don't know why they're throwing tantrums, you don't know why they're not following, you don't know why they seem lazy and not doing anything. So maybe you should check on this area. the maybe they're feeling inferior, and let's search where is that coming from. Okay. So what does this mean for you parents? So if you notice that your child is a bit delayed in their skills development, don't take it to chance, okay? Or luck that your child may just outgrow it or overcome his difficulty. Provide professional support early on. So if your child is, not yet able to read at 6, 7, 8 years old, and you're still hopeful that eventually he will read, do something about it. Go to a reading specialist. It's your responsibility as a parent. Because maybe you've tried everything, but your methods didn't work. So maybe you need other professional help. So because your conventional method, the methods that our parents use to help us may not be effective to your child. Okay, so you have to remember that each child is different. They may be different from you. So what your parents use to help you is not effective. So please, there's nothing wrong with seeking professional help. Okay. So as for my kid who can't spell, he can't have friends right now because there's no way he can maintain a conversation online. And other classmates would lose interest, so he is dependent on his sister. And now, when his sister rejects him, as the sister prefers to hang out with her girlfriends, he is now aggressive towards her. So the mom noticed the aggression towards the sister. And later on, with continuous looking at things, analyzing his behavior, ayun pala, dun lang pala galing. Wala siyang friends kasi hindi siya makachat, at hindi siya makachat kasi hindi siya makaspell. So imagine, tas paparusahan mo yung bata for hitting her sister. Okay? Because ni-rejection ng sister niya. So ganun na kalayo yung manifestation ng behavior. So, again, some failure may be necessary so that your child can develop some modesty. But again, a balance between competence and modesty is necessary. So at this stage, success is important, and success will lead to the virtue of competence. So if you are a parent who flaunts every achievement of your child has in social media, this may be helpful if your child is at this stage. But then again, think again if you have another child who does not have the same spotlight in your account. So imagine the effect of that, of your behavior towards the brother or the sister. Okay, so think about what skills your child lacks. If the teacher says your child needs tutoring, don't be offended. If your child may need developmental assessment, the teacher said that your child needs that, don't be offended. Because, in my experience, in my 12 years of being an OT, a lot of parents that I've hindi, a lot of parents that saw me in the clinic are furious towards teachers because the teacher informed them that their child has some delays or lacks at this skill, and then advised them to go to a developmental pediatrician, and then the developmental pediatrician referred to us occupational therapists. So don't be offended, don't be furious, because the teachers care about your children. So that's why they inform you of what area does your child need in terms of helping them. Okay. So according to the theory, again, successful completion of each stage results in a healthy personality and acquisition of basic virtues. So basic virtues are characteristics of strengths which the ego can use to resolve in subsequent crisis. Okay. Okay, so we just completed the skills review. So we're going now to the second part, which is review, or let's us recount how did the pandemic affected you, our children, and our routine. So before, in preschool, teachers facilitate skills acquisition, and most families are dependent in schools to provide opportunities for socialization and practice of skills. And the school provided the physical space for our children to play gross motor play like running ball and play ball. And but even before pandemic, parents allowed their children to play a lot of mobile games or online games, despite discouraging campaigns against it. And at this point, screen time increase as the child is bored and then the parents are busy. And kumbaga, there's nothing to do. So, no playtime, no movement playtime unless they have siblings, and usually it's because there's no space at home, there's no toys, gadget lang yung meron. So, tendency is that many parents invested in gadget when like binilhan na kaagad ng tablet for play, educational play naman yung educational applications naman yung nilalaro niya. But still, wala pa rin kapantay yung toys. Because especially children at this stage, preschool, they have to, refine their skills, especially motor skills. So if they are into gadgets, most of the time, they don't have toys to manipulate, it won't help them. Okay? At some point, magkakaroon kayo ng difficulty, like especially in handwriting. So I've seen a lot of children na pagdating ng 6 years old, 7 years old, ang bagal magsulat. Yun lang yung problema. Walang diagnosis, no? Dahil lang hindi sila makapagsulat. Okay? Hindi lang sila makasustain magsulat. Or ayaw magsulat. And because they didn't have toys when they were, at preschool. Parang puro gadget lang. Tapos diretso tinuruan na sila magsulat. So, hindi na-develop yung fine motor skills niya before siya diniretso pagsulat. No? Pag-use ng pencil and crayons. So, the impact is actually greater for school-age children. So, as their life focuses on their teachers and friends. So, yun yung pinaka-importanting social group, hindi yung family. Okay. So, and the subjects are harder for parents to continuously give them support. So, parents now are forced to study to teach their children. So, they have more responsibilities at school, more work output, and this is a challenge for parents to monitor. So, yung ibang parents and tendency, sige, para matapos na lang, sila na lang yung gagawa. Okay, so imagine, no, pag kayo ang gumawa ng output ng inyong mga anak, you deprive them of the opportunity to learn and to develop their skills. So you deprive them the opportunity to, be successful in this achievement stage. Kasi you did it for them. For the sake na, kasi nag-follow up na si teacher, wala, hindi pa kami makasubmit. So ako na lang ang gagawa. Or tutor na lang ang gagawa. Okay? So yon. Sana walang ganun. Pero actually I've seen this happening. Okay? So there. Third part is we are the third part. So we are in the support area of our talk. So very important, no, for parents. Okay? For all other healthy tips, if you search online, can be summarized into one word: structure. Okay, establish a structure in your home. How do you do that? Okay, how do you do that? First is set their expectations, set limits or boundaries, set a schedule to establish a healthy routine, and lastly, set an example. So let's look at each one. Okay. For parents, it's important that you set specific expectations. Okay. Asking your child to behave is not helping at all. Maybe you have to think about, what do you mean by behave? So is it finishing school tasks like module? Is it not watching cartoon porn? Okay. Is it cleaning up his toys after playtime? Is it not hitting his yaya or his sister? Okay. Is it Okay, so you have to identify, what do you mean by behave. Telling your child, oh, behave ka ha, is not setting specific expectations. Okay? So, if you can't name a behavior, that behavior, you cannot change it. You cannot teach it. You cannot establish it. So you have to name it. You have to identify specifically. So be specific, label what you want to observe in your child's behavior. So right now, think about, what do you want your child to be able to do? What do you mean by behave? Hindi siya malikot, hindi siya mangingialam ng gamit ng lola niya, ng kapatid niya, yung mga ganun ba? So when thinking about expectation, a parent can make a list, okay? A list in different categories. Your categories can be things to do or tasks to do, like fix bed in the morning, okay? Take a bath. So yun yung mga tasks. And then it could be categorized in behaviors. Behaviors that you expect to see as like no shouting when angry, no hitting when rejected, yung mga ganyan. Okay, not open sites while online class is ongoing. So this is common, no? Nagde-discuss yung teacher, tapos naka-split screen, may ibang naglalaro siya. Okay, so yan yung mga common na ginagawa. So yan, yung mga ganyang behavior, you have to identify that. You have to name that. Okay? Then after you make a list, of course, you narrow down the list. Hindi mo pwede kung 10 yung nakita mo na parang kailangan improve ng anak mo, hindi mo yan pwedeng i-address all at the same time. So you have to prioritize. Okay, we have to narrow it down. So if you want to change something, limit it to 2 to 3 because you need to monitor. So you cannot change the behavior of your child. You cannot improve. You cannot encourage them to do this task on and on and on or regularly if you cannot monitor it. So you have a lot of things to do as parents, right? So you have to choose. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Pero hanggang 3 lang. Ako sa experience ko, hanggang 3 lang at a time. Hindi tayo pwedeng magsobra dyan kasi mahirap at imposible siya. Okay. Then it should be visually represented and monitored. So making a behavior chart, monitoring is important. So, or you can put up signs. So example of a chart, I'll show it after the next slide. Okay, so like example, putting up signs in the kitchen sink to remind your school-age child to wash his or her used plate after snacks. Quiet, maybe may sign kayo na quiet from 10 a.m. to 12 noon because it's mommy's work from home time. Mga ganyan. Okay. Then make your child accountable of his actions. Nobody should be blamed when he was not able to do what he was expected to do. Like for example, sabi niya, ay hindi ko kasi nagawa kasi yung kapatid ko kinalat yung ano, mga ganyan. So, hindi, siya yung accountable doon. Kahit na his actions may be affected by a sibling or by a yaya. So like no water, kaya hindi ako nakahugas ng plato right after snacks. So, pwede mo naman hugasan pagbalik ng water, di ba? So, ganyan. So, okay. Monitoring is important. There should be an adult to monitor to establish the expectations, okay? We cannot expect that your preschooler or your school-age child will be able to regularly do what you ask him to do, especially if it's a new expectation. So here are some examples of setting expectations. Okay, if you can write in the comment box, you can write it down, please, na the expectations that you want or your, maybe in terms of behavior or task you want your child to be able to do. So this one right here, this in the computer monitor, this is an example of a behavior chart for expected behaviors at home, like using polite words, like please, thank you, drinking milk, taking a nap. So, ito yung mga expectations niya. Actually, masyadong madami to. So, pero pag yung anak nyo, challenging yung behavior, limit it to 3. Pero kung yung anak nyo medyo madaling kausap, or sabihin na lang natin na kailangan lang niya ng some reminders. So, pwede na siguro madami. Pero ako, 3 lang kasi hindi mo siya ma-establish talaga pag madami ka masyadong nilista, tapos hindi mo ma-monitor. Okay, hindi mo siya ma-remind. Okay. So if your child cannot read yet, maybe preschooler, no, pwedeng pictures, no? Maraming pictures online na pwede mong gamitin to substitute the words. Okay. In the tablet naman, these are home chores that are expected to be performed by all family members as they take turns in doing home chores. So, para ikaw, especially for moms, so, mag-remind ka pa. So, parang electric pa yung anak mo, pindot ka ng pindot. O, ikaw dito, ikaw dito. So, just make a weekly chore chart. That is helpful and that will ease your burden of keep on reminding. Tapos, hindi ka pa maiirita. Okay. Okay, next point is setting a schedule. Okay, setting a schedule. How can you structure, okay, the next point on how you can structure is setting a schedule. So, yan po yung mga reminders natin. Okay. So, make time. First things first. Make time to observe and plot how all your family members use their time in a week. Okay, include everything you do individually and as a family. From self-care time, yung magpagligo, pagbihis, pagkain, school time, study time, work time for you and your husband and other family members, leisure and playtime. Kasama lahat yon. Observe mo, i-plot mo. Gantong oras, ito yung ginagawa ng anak kong isa, gantong oras, ito yung ginagawa ng isa kong anak. Ako, ito yung ginagawa ko at this time. So, plot nyo yan. Now, if you cannot predict more or less your routine, medyo marami-rami pa po tayong gagawin. Okay? For you to have a structured schedule. Okay? But first thing is, yeah, you have to plot. You have to like list down what your family members are doing in sequence. Okay, now if you have a like time frame more or less kung kailan siya, like for example, 7 to 10, ganito yung nangyayari. So yon. So kailangan niya siyang intentionally gawin. Okay. With that information, you may be able to point out your common break time or sedentary time of your children. So you can see how much time your child spend doing important or seemingly unimportant things. Okay. After you have established your baseline schedule, kumbaga, without intervention, ito yung meron kayong schedule. Find a time slot in your schedule that you can talk to your child to check on how he's doing or coping with the demands at school, or when you can assist him. Kasi iba yung kinakamusta mo yung anak mo kamusta na siya sa nararamdaman niya, sa kaya niya bang mag-cope sa demand sa kanya. So, just having a conversation, being engaged with your child, and pag-assist mo sa kanya pag nahihirapan siya. So, iba pa yon. Okay? Or when can you tutor him or monitor his class output? So, when is the best time for you to monitor his class output? Okay? At this time, it is common for schools to send parents the schedule for the week. Tama ba? So, hopefully, ganon. Pero may mga schools ako na nakita na parang pabago-bago yung schedule per week. Pero I think that was, evident nung first few months ng pandemic kasi hindi pa sanay yung school. Pero syempre, lahat bago. But now, I've seen news with a few kids that I handle who are attending regular school online, usually naka-send na yung schedule nila for the week. Or yun na talaga yung schedule nila for the quarter. Kung may changes lang, yun, isa-send a week before. Okay, so meron na kayo nun. And please print the schedule. Okay, so that will save your time asking the teacher in the group chat, "Teacher, ano nga ba yung deadline ngayon? Ay, ano nga ba yung expectation?" Sinend na sa inyo, sa email ninyo, or sa Microsoft Teams, or kung anong platform ang ginagamit ng school. Please print it out and then post it somewhere like where your kids are. So that hindi lang kayo nagmo-monitor, you teach your child how to use that chart. Okay? Hindi lang kayo parang, ito na. Wag tayo masyadong parang hovering, no? Parang helicopter, parang lahat i-direct mo. Teach them how to use the chart so that they're more independent in monitoring their schedule, their output, and their expectations of schools. Okay, and that will help you also be organized as a family. Okay, so that schedule board should be physically present. Diba? Visually present siya. Nakikita siya. Okay? This is why it is important to teach time, days, and how to look at the calendar. Preschool pa lang. So, wag natin yan kalimutan, okay? So, dapat talaga tinuturo siya. So, if you need to add things to do sheet, yung things to do list, diba? Pwede nyo lang turuan yung mga anak nyo kung paano gamitin yan. Okay. So, with your calendar organizer, you may do so. So, there are a lot of calendar organizers available online. Search mo lang, printable calendar organizer, weekly, ganyan. Tapos marami mga cute designs that can encourage your child to, fill it out. Excited sila kasi maganda yung design. Kung gusto mahilig sila sa cars, mahilig sila sa unicorn, mahilig sila sa mermaid, nandyan lahat po, kompleto siya. Type nyo lang yung keyword. Okay. Now, very important, please consider exercise time. So, ito yung laging wala eh. Okay? We need exercise to be healthy. We know that. Alam natin yon. Pero, hindi natin ginagawa. Okay? So, but for children, especially, no, kung yung parents parang feeling nyo, okay lang kayo kahit walang exercise. Remember, your children, especially preschooler, they need physical activities to provide their sensory processing system needs in terms of nourishment. So di ba, meron tayong nourishment na vitamin C, vitamin A, so para magkaroon tayo ng healthy na katawan. Okay, our brain also needs sensory nourishment. Okay, so that's why yung mga bata na maliliit, di ba, yung mga 2 years old to 4 years to 6, actually 6, malilikot sila. They move a lot, okay? It's because, this is another topic, but I just want to tell you guys na from the perspective of an occupational therapist, you have the sensory processing skills. So, yung ability natin to identify what's relevant and not relevant from our environment in terms of sensations, okay, we need to develop our ability to modulate in the vestibular, proprioceptive, and tactile sensory system. So, those three systems are, can help you if they are nourished well at around up to 6 years old. The child can become more sensory organized, and that is exhibited in his attention span, concentration, impulse control, and frustration tolerance. So yung attention span mo, concentration, impulse control, frustration tolerance, those are important skills in task completion. So if you don't provide the sensory nourishment to acquire those skills or to have adequate attention span to complete a sit-down task, a writing task, you're not helping your child. And especially now, walang school, walang inaakyat na stairs, walang tinatakbo na court, hindi nakakapaglakad, hindi nakapag-fall in line, walang exercise sa classroom, walang mga dance, walang mga circle time. So, all the more your child needs exercise. Okay? So, yon. Okay, so given the limited space at home, I understand, wala. Limited yung travels, no physical environment that can support exercise. I understand. Wala tayong masyadong movement, sensory stimulation. So, we have to be more intentional about it. So, the easiest for you guys is, to include exercise. It's not enough. It's not enough, honestly, pero it can help. Kaysa naka-sit down, couch potato yung anak ninyo, naglalaro ng gadget the whole time, that is not helping his sensory system. And that will hurt his attention span, ability to concentrate, ability to control impulse, and his frustration tolerance. So pansin nyo, pag the whole day na gadget yung anak nyo, irritable, fidgety, hindi masyadong makakapag-concentrate, ganyan. So, yon. So, kailangan niya ng exercise. And also include family leisure time. So, okay. Can you please write in the comments below, comments box, what physical activity or gross motor play that you can do at home na tingin nyo possible? So, actually, I can suggest you can play gross motor games such as tug and run kung meron kayong garden man lang or backyard, or kahit sa loob lang ng bahay, basta wala masyadong babasagin. Twister, hopscotch, or piko. Sa Tagalog, piko. Tug of war, ball toss, or paper na itos mo lang sa basurahan na parang basketball. Move like an animal, or yung mga animal walks, like walk like a bear, walk like a duck, jump like a frog, jump like a rabbit, ganyan. Gusto yan ng mga preschoolers mo. And kailangan nila yan. Or balloon chase, sobrang ganda na sensation na binibigay ng balloon chase. Yung ordinary balloon lang, i-inflate mo lang, and then, sige, abulin mo, or i-toss up and down mo. Bigyan mo ng 5 minutes yan. Enough movement na yung binigay mo sa anak mo. And this is usually useful before you let them sit down and concentrate. So it's best that you have this exercise before, or you have this gross motor play before they start their class online. Okay? Or before they start doing their modules or answering their worksheets at school. Okay? So in short, don't let them play with their gadget. Okay? When it's not school time or study time. Mas maganda nga kung possible lang po, i-limit nyo yung paggamit ng gadget nila for school lang. Okay? But of course, syempre, hindi naman din normal kung hindi sila naglalaro ng online games. Kasi when the group chat of the students, wala, hindi sila makarelate, di ba? So, limit it up to 30 to 60 minutes a day. I know that seems impossible, no? 30 minutes passes like a breeze. Tayo nga, pag nag-Facebook, 30 minutes, ang bilis, di ba? So, but it can be done. Okay? Yun nga lang, hindi realistic. If your child right now is playing gadget for 4 hours, then, imposible talaga yung 30 minutes na ibababa mo agad yung expectation mo to 30 minutes. Oh, mag-schedule tayo, 30 minutes lang ang gadget. Nako, merong World War IV sa bahay ninyo niyan. So, you can gradually reduce it. So, maybe the first week, you'll reduce from 4 hours to 3 hours. And then the next week to 2 hours. And then the next week, 1 hour. But, prepare yourself. You will struggle. Of course, your child will really struggle and will really assert na, bakit dati 4 hours ako ngayon? Sandali na lang, ang bilis na lang, mag-iiyak, ganyan. So, yun. So, may I read some of your ideas? Maybe later when I'm done with the screen share because I cannot see the comments at the moment. Okay. So, this is an example. This is an actual work of one of the parents of the kids that I see. So, ang anak nito, wala ring diagnosis, no? But later on was diagnosed with ADD. Okay, so there. She plotted the schedule of her son, the other son, and her schedule and her husband. And this is quite challenging because she's an employee. She goes to work. She reports to work at a certain day of the week and then may work from home din siya. So yun, medyo challenging pag work from home. Tapos he has 2 boys. Ayun. So, she plotted, so sabi ko kanina, ginawa niya yung schedule niya, and then ginaid ko siya kung paano namin aayusin yung schedule niya in such a way na meron siyang time to assist her child, meron siyang time to, do things for herself, and do some home chores, ganyan. So, yon. Okay, so but it's hard, it was not a breeze. It was a challenging journey for her. But okay na ngayon, kaya na niya. So yan. So kung tatanungin niya ako, possible ba 'yon, Van? Possible. Ito yung example. So, hindi ko po 'to gawa. Yung parent talaga yung gumawa nito. Medyo naka-Excel file. Ayan. Sinend niya sa akin. Okay. So, for the next point, how can you make structure? Is set your boundaries or your limits. Okay, again, just like setting expectations, you have to be specific with your limits or boundaries. Okay, so one thing you should make your kids realize that when you set limits, it doesn't mean you love them less. So if you can see the icon there, yung heart at saka yung fence. So wala ko masyadong makitang representation ng limits. It's like fence, no? So you have to balance it. Show them love, but you have to limit. Okay, you have to give them boundaries. Okay, that scale there represents the balance between your love for your child and teaching them boundaries. Okay, to help protect them now and for their future self. Okay. Again, one has to be specific, consistent, and identify the categories. Okay, so we can identify the specific limits that you want between tangible objects. Okay? Tangibles, yung mga object na gusto niyang makuha, like food, gadget, whatever. Space or physical setup. Okay. Physical setup. And then, okay, so physical setup, behaviors na bawal. So for example, gadget is madalas kong makita, no, tangibles, yung mother's phone. So, many children feels entitled that, pag dumating na si mama or daddy, pwede na nilang gamitin yung gadget ng kanilang parents, yung phone ng mama nila. Tapos magagalit sila pag di sila pinahiram. So, may mga ganon. Or food, or snacks, when they're not really eating during mealtime. Or space at home, like mommy or daddy's home office are off limits dapat, yung mga ganyan. So, yung mga behaviors na bawal, like cursing sa bahay, shouting sa house, hitting your siblings. So, yun. You can categorize alin yung mga hindi pwede. No, no, no. So, and then, you have to think about the consequence. What could be your consequence of the no-no behavior? So, if ever na i-demonstrate ng anak niyo yung mga no-no behaviors. Okay, so to operationalize it, okay, you can set a contract. Okay, this is setting a contract. Okay. Set a contract. So in your contract with your child, identify the specific behavior that you want to observe or you don't want to observe if it's a negative behavior. And then you can choose if you want to monitor the good behaviors or then reward them, or you want to monitor hold on. Okay, sorry. Okay. So you want to reward them or monitor the bad behavior and give consequence to the bad behavior. So pili ka, yung red sa baba. So not expected, yung ayaw mo makita and then give consequence pag pinakita niya yung behaviors na yon. Or yung gusto mo makita and then reward it if the child demonstrated that kind of like good behavior. So how do we know which one? Depends on your child. So you have to know your child. But as for me, I always recommend to start with the positive. So monitor the good behaviors and reward the good behaviors so that you can strengthen them. So kasi minsan pag negative, you always correct them. Feeling nila you're always correcting them. They don't have the opportunity to be given approval, praises. So start with ano muna yung gusto mong makita niya sa kanya na positive. So this is an example of a behavior chart that contains expected or good behaviors demonstrated at school. So limit the behaviors which one you can monitor lang. Of course, ganun pa din, nag-a-apply pa din. Kung ano lang yung kaya nyong i-monitor. So if you cannot specify it, you cannot change it. Now, if you cannot monitor it, you cannot change it. So yun pa din ha, reminder po. Okay. So this, again, is an example, an actual example, okay, of a photo taken by one of the parents na ito yung ginawa niya. So token economy system to. So parang generally setting pa din a contract. So adopted by one mother whose kid I'm handling, no. The concern is the child takes a lot of time to finish his module. He kept on delaying, even if he knows the answer. Ayoko, pagod na ako. Mamaya na. Patapos na ba? Ganon. Ganon yung mga linya ng bata. So, our rule during the module time, so meron kaming schedule na module time. Yan. Kasi ano sila parang combination of online, like synchronous and asynchronous na mga activities. So, in some days of the week, meron silang live session and then after, meron silang mga modules na kailangan i-complete or offline task. So, ang rule lang namin, simple. Finish within the time limit. So, sinet namin yung alarm. Meron kaming countdown timer. So, parang phone lang din yung ginagamit. Then, if you finish on time, before the alarm sets off, you earn coins. Okay? Kasi nakakapagod yung mag-score sheet pa yung nanay So, parang coins na lang. So, i-shoot namin dyan. Tapos, since they have a special family meal every Sunday, so I asked the mom not to buy him rewards anymore. Kasi dati puro toys. Tapos sabi ko, so araw-araw ka bumibili ng toys. So sabi niya, sabi ko daw kasi rewardan. So araw-araw ka bumibili ng toy. Sabi niya, kahit yung mamumurahin na lang. Sabi ko, no, your child is now 7. Hindi niya always ma-appreciate yan. So mawawala yung novelty niyan. So sabi ko, it's time to change it. Okay, so with this, we let him decide the Sunday family meal. So yan, French fries, pizza, Happy Meal, Jollibee, picnic, Pringles. Yan, pinakagusto talaga niya yung Pringles or snacks. Yan. So meron pa siyang isa na parang meals talaga, tapos meron siyang snack na para sa kanya lang. So ito yung sa snack para sa kanya lang. Okay, so the bottle markings indicates the food or the snack that he will get on a Sunday. Okay? So this is cheaper than buying him toys, rewards every day. Okay? So he gets an approval. Oh, wow, na-earn mo. Kumbaga, he earned that snack. He earned that special meal. Okay? So for some of you, you can actually do this. You can limit the food deliveries from Food Panda, Grab. Diba? Pwede nyo i-limit yan lahat. Okay. Pwedeng at a certain time lang. So pag kunwari naabot ng coins yung markings, that's the time na meron siya. Tapos itong isang bottle na to, meron siyang gustong toy, yung Shark, RC Shark. Hindi ako masyadong familiar, pero it's a toy daw sa Toy Kingdom na medyo mahal. So each time na, kasi parang ano naman ito, pag correct yung mga answers niya, he will get, for example, 20 points. So, per points, 1 peso. Parang ganyan. 1 peso. So, pag napuno itong bottle na to, he got 20 points na correct, 20 items na correct. So, 20 pesos yung ilalagay ng nanay. Then, iyan yung magiging pambili ng laruan. Okay, so, delayed gratification na. Hindi na yung bawat kibot reward. Okay, so yun yung concept ng token economy is that kailangan niya i-keep on earning and then he gets parang big reward then. Okay, so yun. Do you have any other ideas na pwede nating add? Maybe some parents might learn from you, no? Share it. So ito napaka-simple lang na application, but it's actually useful. Kasi yung kid ko na yun, magta-tantrums talaga siya during module time. Lalo na pag parang feeling niya, tapos parang kanina pa siya nag-work, ganyan. Okay. Now, in your setting contract, how do you determine your rewards and possible consequences? So again, make a list of what your child gets and categorize it if it's a need or a privilege. So for example, snacks, privilege naman yan. Playtime sa iPad, privilege yan. Pero yung iPad na gagamitin niya yung iPad for school, that's a need, right? So all things that you list down in the privilege column or section of your notes, you can use it as a reward or take them away as a consequence. So in short, limit nyo yung privilege. Huwag nyo always ibigay. So kailangan nyo ngayon ilista ano yung mga privileges ng anak ko. Okay? And then, pwede nyo, kung gusto nyo gamitin siya as a reward, limit nyo pa rin yung pagbigay. Kasi bibigay nyo lang yan sa kanya kung natapos niya or nagawa niya yung pinapagawa mo. Okay. So ano po ba yung mga privileges na meron yung mga anak nyo? If you can comment it down sa ating comment box para marami tayong pag-usapan mamaya during open forum. Okay, so you can take your time, just anong privilege ang meron ng anak ninyo. Okay? And then okay. Things to remember when you set a contract with your child. Check if your expectations are realistic and achievable. For example, sabi ko nga kanina, if your child is, excuse me, playing with iPad or the gadget for 3 to 4 hours straight on weekends, and you want to limit it to 30 minutes, that's not achievable. That's not realistic. Okay? Hindi yan mangyayari. So, imposible yan sa first week. Sabi ko nga, gradually natin gagawin. So, you will end up giving up. And because he will cry, either he will repeatedly ask you, bug you while you're working, or he will be very noisy and crying about it, ibibigay mo, magi-give in ka. Ibabalik mo sa kanya yung iPad. So, nabaliwala po yung setting the contract. Kasi, hindi ka nag-follow through dun sa sinet mo. Okay? So, the behavior charts shown earlier, yung kanina, and yung token economy, yung economy bottle na pinakita natin kanina, ang purpose niyan is for monitoring. You're actually helping your child monitor his behavior because at this point, yung preschooler lalo na, they don't have self-monitoring skills. Pag school age, they're still beginning to improve their self-monitoring skills. So, the behavior chart and yung bottle kanina actually functions as an external self-monitoring strategy because your child is unable to do so and he needs help. So, yon. Then, a very important follow through. Now, sabi ko nga, name it, monitor it, and follow it. So you have to establish your credibility. The contract should not depend on your mood or your energy. That is why it is important lang to limit it to 2 to 3 expectations or boundaries. Kasi kung di mo siya kayang i-monitor, hindi mo magagamit yung mga chart na ginawa mo. So yun. And then, may nakalagay dyan, revise later. So, once na sinet mo, follow through mo na lang yan. Tapos, parang pag gawin mo pa din. So, kahit hanggang mamaya umiyak siya, okay lang. Pero, na-realize mo sa sarili mo na hindi mo kaya. So, maybe, set na naman another contract. Bawasan mo yung kailangan mong i-monitor. Okay, so saka mo na siya i-revise pagkatapos ng isang run. Okay? So, remember, yung nakakaawa, no? Example, yung child mo, picky eater. And you want to apply these techniques para ma-address yung pagkain niya, pagiging picky eater niya. So, your expectation is, or yung sinet mo, will not play unless finish with lunch. Tapos yung milk and yung sweets will come after the meal. Okay, so yun yung sinet mo na expectations and boundaries. So, of course, on your first try, syempre, yung anak mo, hindi yan siya maniniwala na meron kang ganong expectation. So, mag-hunger strike yan. Maybe after 2 spoonfuls, magsa-stop na yan and will refuse to eat. So, maybe an hour of struggle, pilit ka ng pilit. Sige na, kainin mo na. Ayoko. Gusto ko gatas na lang. So, sa common is mga 3 years old, 4 years old. Okay. And then, feeling mo, she did not eat enough. Ang 2 spoon lang, Diyos ko, anong energy niyan. So, binigay mo na lang yung gatas. Okay? Binigay mo na lang yung gatas sa bottle. So, nabali, wala. Hindi mo finalo through. Ayaan mo siya magutom. Okay? Ayun. So, may mga iba din po akong technique sa picky eater. If may question kayo later na lang po. Picky eating is common. Okay. So, now, your child, sabihin na lang natin yung child mo, hindi niya nagawa yung contract. So, ibig sabihin, hindi niya nagawa yung expectation mo or nag-violate siya. Yung sinet mong rule, hindi niya nagawa. So, hindi mo binigay yung reward or binigyan mo siya ng consequence. Kasi pipili kayo kung anong gusto nyo. Okay, so of course, your child will not like it. Some will say, I will hate you. You love me less. Ganyan. So, yung mga ganyang sasabihin, depende sa ugali ng anak ninyo. So, ignore nyo lang. Wait until everyone is calm. And then, you go to the debriefing method, yung tawag ko dito. Pero, debriefing method siya. So, how do you do this? Or why is this important? Okay. Important to ease the negative feelings. Kasi syempre, binigyan mo ng consequence or tinanggal mo yung privilege. Sinong matutuwa nun? Syempre, ma-hurt yung anak nyo. And I'm sure kayo din na-hurt kasi parang feeling nyo, dineprive nyo siya. Diba? So, this is how to help your child this is to guide your child, how to think and change perspective. Okay, this is especially effective for children who do not want to hear your mini lecture. Okay, yung mga, alam mo, hindi nakikinig yung anak mo. Papasok sa kabilang tenga, lalabas sa kabilang tenga. Tapos sa susunod na situation, uulitin na naman niya. So, or yung mga bata na would do the exact opposite of what you ask them to do. Okay? So, when they're calm na, ask your child why there was a consequence. Okay, so for example, why did I took away your iPad time? Ba't nawala? Okay? So that's your consequence. Tinanggal mo yung iPad time niya. Kasi pwede hindi niya ginawa yung module niya. So kung di ka tapos module niya, wala kang iPad time. Eh, bedtime na ng 9 o'clock. So wala siyang iPad time. Diba? Okay. So then, ask your child na what could he have done differently? So for example, ng mga question na yan, what would be a better choice? What should you have done? Okay, parang ganyan. So answer niya is, dapat ginawa ko na lang, dapat tinapos ko na lang. And then, help him plan what to do next. So, for example, yung leading words could be, so next time, when you want to play the iPad, what are you going to do? So that's an example of a question. Or when the child is aggressive, like for example, may trigger, no? So next time, when you feel teased, what are you going to do? Diba? Meron sa may mga anak tayo na minsan, no, nag-aasaran yung magkapatid, ganyan. Tapos pag napikon, mananakit. So, syempre, kung nanakit siya, may consequence yun, di ba? And then, after ng consequence, so pagkalmado na, o sige, o bakit, common na sa parents, no? Bakit kita pinalo? Di ba? Papaluin mo din pag nanakit eh. Na, bakit kita pinalo? Kasi sinampal ko yung kapatid ko. O, ganyan. So, ano dapat yung gagawin mo sa susunod? Hindi ko papaluin yung kapatid ko para hindi ako mapalo. Okay. So, next time na mainis ka sa kapatid mo, anong gagawin mo? So, yun na yung time na yung opportunity nyo na i-emphasize ano yung better choice. So, kung napikon siya, walk out na lang siya. Diba? So, yun yung expected mo. So, next time, pag napikon ka na sa kapatid mo, nainis ka na, anong dapat mong gawin? Or anong mas magandang gawin? Dapat sa kanya manggaling. Layasan ko na lang, alisan ko na lang, walk out na lang ako. Yun, para sa kanya galing. Hindi sa'yo. Kasi more or less, pag matagal mo nang sinabi sa kanya, paulit-ulit, tapos, sasabihin mo na naman, pag nagkaroon siya ng kasalanan, wala na yun, parang hindi na nag-make sense. Pero kung galing sa kanya, you help him remember, retrieve what you taught him, you ask them questions. And especially for school-age children, it's better that you help them think and retrieve, no? Kung ano yung dapat na gawin. Okay. Rather than just telling them what to do. Okay. Yeah. So these are, I don't know, maybe some of you are familiar with these applications, but maybe some of you are not. So yung virtual context or yung virtual world is already part of our reality. So you're not around 24/7, no? But you can help yourself by using this technology. So this Google Family Link app for parents, okay, lets you set rules, what applications to use, and for how long. So you can also remotely monitor your child's usage of the gadget. You can set daily screen time. So mamamatay siya kapag kunwari naabot na niya yung threshold na, for example, sinet mo lang na 1 hour lang yung playtime niya doon sa app na yon, or ganto lang yung screen time niya. O di, magla-lock yung gadget. Okay? So you can also filter yung age limit for the Google content. So, meron akong isang client na ang problema ng parent is na nagsa-start na manood ng mga cartoon porns yung bata. He's 10. So, yon, pwede siya, hindi niya talaga masastop, pero at least ma-filter niya kung kunwari itong YouTube content na to pang adult siya, hindi siya pambata. So, makakatulong siya. Okay, kasi minsan 'di ba, yung gadget hindi siya nakaset sa Google Kids, 'di ba? So 'yon. So pwede niyo gamitin tong Google Family Link for parents. Okay. Tapos may partner 'yan sa kids. So ano naman siya intuitive naman siya kung paano gamitin. So you have to use it to be able to master yung mga features niya. And then you can also, buy Kaspersky. I don't know lang sa ibang mga antivirus na mga software. Pero Kaspersky kasi, like, nagamit ko talaga siya. Ito yung ginagamit ko and ginagamit ng mga pamangkin ko. Actually, sister-in-law ko kasi police siya. So, siya yung sa women's desk against violence against children and women. So, medyo siya yung nagturo sa akin ng mga ganito. So sa Kaspersky, you can block access to adult websites, of course. So syempre, baka minsan hindi mo makontrol yung nasa gadget. So at least yung sa wifi sa bahay ninyo, pwede mong makontrol yung content. Okay, yung mga YouTube search about drugs, alcohol. You can also manage yung games and inappropriate apps. Allows you to manage then, parang sa Google Family Link, yung screen time by device na nakapasok, di ba? And then shares expert advice and tips from your child. So may mga ano siya, may mga other apps siya. Okay. Sa real world, pag bumalik na maybe wala na tayong online, sana makapasok na yung mga anak natin sa school. Okay, so meron din siyang GPS tracker. Ganun din sa Google Family Links. Meron din siyang GPS tracker. It will give you the location of your child. Sa Kaspersky, ganun din. Real time to ha. And also, you can set like a safe area kung saan lang dapat yung anak mo. Tapos kapag lumabas siya dun sa area na yon, mag-i-inform siya sa'yo. Na kunwari, dun lang sa barangay niya siya dapat, tapos lumabas na siya sa kabilang barangay, magna-notify siya sa'yo. So, yon. And then, you can also, meron din siya na parang feature na pag malulobat na yung gadget, mag-notify sa'yo. So, pwede mo i-remind yung anak mo na, lalo na yung mga teenager na or yung mga pinapayagan niya ng lumabas, pwede niya sabihin, mag-lowbat ka na. Hindi mo pwedeng idahilan sa akin na lowbat ka na or battery empty ka na, kaya makakatakas ka sa akin. So, notify mo, mag-charge ka na para hindi ka malowbat. Yung mga ganon. So, very helpful siya. Okay. Okay. Then, last for the support section is setting an example. First things first. No, I'm sure itong pandemic could be, for some things na medyo traumatic siya or disastrous siya, ganyan. So, ano yung effect niya sa mga anak nyo, ganyan. So, any traumatic incident, disaster, yung mga lindol, mga ganyan, when the adult seems alright, the children sees it. So, if they see that you're recovering well, and you're doing okay, they are okay then. So makikita nila. So pag kita na distress ka, yon mas may effect yun sa anak mo kaysa yung mismong incident. So always observe your child's play kasi doon mo ma-check if your child is coping well. Okay? So yon. Ano lang yan siya, parang reminder lang. Then let's proceed now with setting the example. Okay? Set an example to your child. So first things first, being proactive and not reacting to stressful situations, okay, will help your child, no? You model to your child the practice of self-control, problem solving, and anticipating future problems. Kasi whatever you do, you're modeling it to your child eh. So, it's nice if you plan the day ahead with them. That's why importante yung setting yung schedule. Kasi it's planning with them. What are you gonna do at your time na commonly meron kayo, may open time, may open slot na magkasama kayo, mag-uusap kayo. Okay? So drawing up their schedule with them, planning for what can cause delays. Yan. So anong gagawin natin pag nawala ng kuryente, yung mga ganyan. Yung basically finding and anticipating solutions pagka nagkaroon ng problema. So those are good points that you can develop with your children. And syempre, dapat aware din tayo kung meron ba tayong skills na ganon. Kasi kung wala, maybe we should, be self-aware, no? Meron ba tayo nun? Okay, o baka kailangan natin mag-improve sa area na yon. Okay. Self-awareness, self-monitoring, and self-control. Magkakasama yan to demonstrate, no? Or to teach our children to mind their manners, okay, and to relate to other people appropriately, okay. So parents can start on reflecting your discipline practices, your response to frustrating situations, your response to happy moments, and then identify what are good models and what are not so good models. Then ask yourself, do I want my child to behave this way when they become adults? Or does my behavior causes my child to misbehave? Or does my current discipline methods effective with my child? So those are the things na, you can start with the step one, self-awareness. In terms of self-monitoring and self-control, as adults, you can proceed doon sa mga steps na yon. So, nagsisimula lahat sa awareness eh. Okay, next is, okay, you have to remember that whatever you do matters to your child. Okay, remember that. Next is engage. Okay, talk to your child, listen, be involved in his decision making. Do not decide for him. Try to empower them by making choices or giving them choices, and then help them decide on the better choice. Okay? And then, you can also ask them, okay, what could be the result of such decision? If ito yung choice mo, ito yung choice mo, ano kaya magiging consequence niyan? Especially for school-age children. Okay? Engaging does not mean you need to do his homework. Hindi po yun ang ibig kong sabihin. Okay? Doing his module for him. Okay? So remember, homework is for the teacher to know if the child learned something. So if you do the homework for your child, you are not helping, you are depriving your child from the opportunity to learn. Okay, so just monitor your child's completion of schoolwork. If he cannot do it, ask yourself why. Is it because he lacks skills? Or he did not learn lang because he made a poor choice of, not listening, do something else na lang while the teacher is teaching, or while it's reading time, di siya nagbasa. So, tingnan nyo bakit. Ano yung reason? Kasi, if you know why your child is behaving in a certain way, you will know how to help him. So, like, yung kid ka nga na yun na, hindi nakikinig sa teacher. Kasi hindi niya rin pala mabasa yung PowerPoint, no? Yung mga ganon. So, hindi siya mag-engage. And that's only possible when you know your child because you are engaged in his life. Okay, so sabihin niyo sa akin, paano busy ako? Opo, busy talaga. So, but you have to be more intentional. Okay, next is respect. Treat your child with respect. Talk to him politely. Avoid sarcasm. So, yung not to demean, like, vice ganda, no? Pero, di ba, joker siya. Sometimes he talks, it's a joke, no? It's a show. So, but it's not the way you talk to your children. So, I've seen some parents talk to their children in a very sarcastic way. So, parang ako, hindi matututo yung anak nila ng ganon. So, that's not showing respect. So, be cautious with the words you use around your child. Okay? So, I'm not saying na masama yung ugali ni Vice Ganda. It's just that, for show yon, and it's not appropriate to use those type of, word sentences to your child. Kasi if you're teaching them respect. So, think about, how you call him, o baka you keep on calling him or her unpleasant names. So, remember that whatever you do matters, diba? Whatever you say matters. So, ano kaya yung effect nun sa self-esteem niya? And then, when you call him names, silly names, how do you think he will address other people then? Okay? So, remember that your relationship with your child is the foundation of how he relates with others. Okay? Next is keep it positive. Praise your child with every opportunity you get. But you should be honest and genuine about it. Always praise publicly, reprimand privately. Okay? And then, be consistent lang. Be consistent. Nothing will work. None of the S's that I presented will work if you're not consistent. Okay? So, as a parent, we must be consistent so that you will send the right message to your child. Okay? As parents, your sacrifices are unpiled. So, having a happy and healthy child is a product of a healthy parent's hard work. So, please take care of yourselves. Okay. That leads us to the last S. So, self-care, okay, for parents. So, remember, you have this different aspects of health or self-care that you have to take care of. So, first is your mental health. This can be relieved with establishing a routine. Okay, yung routine hindi lang po para sa anak nyo, para rin po yun sa inyo. Yung structuring is not only for your child, it is also for you. Because when you put everything in a structured way or in a routine way, less ang inyong, tawag dito, stress. Okay? So, less ang inyong, 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 stress. Okay? So yung kailangan nyo mag-isip pa. So it becomes you become more at ease because everything is, planned out, done by the number. Okay, taking breaks and engaging in activities that will foster creativity. So include that in your schedule of your family. Okay. Next, your emotional health can be strengthened by recognizing your negative and positive feelings. Do not invalidate your feelings. Okay, it is valid. Recognize it. So maybe you can keep a journal of your thoughts, struggles, feelings. That can help. And always practice gratitude. So maybe at least name 3 things that you're grateful for every day, and that will help you keep going. Next is your physical health. Of course, paulit-ulit ako, exercise. Okay. Exercise helps release our happy hormones. So that's why medyo mas parang positive ka pag nag-exercise ka. Hindi ko lang talaga alam kung paano, pero alam ko busy po yung mga parents. But maybe 15 to 20 minutes of your time a day, 3 times a week, or maybe 3 times a week should be enough. And then enough sleep and balanced diet. Next is social health. Okay. Connect with a friend. Okay, reach out to others. Okay, maybe you'll get support. You will get support, and you can support others. Connecting with other parents who may have the same struggle as you are. Talk to them how they solve their problems. Maybe talking with parents who are in the same boat as you are truly helpful, no? However, it does not hurt then if you reach out to professionals to guide you in taking care of your health. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Sometimes, ano kasi tayong Pilipino, medyo nahiya tayo mag-consult or magpunta sa professional when we're talking about, like, especially mental health, ganyan. Okay. So now the points that I presented, demands change. Okay? In the way you normally do things, and I'd like to remind you that change can only happen when the person is ready. So to conclude my presentation, just comment down below in the comment box if are you ready to provide change. Okay. So thank you for listening. I'm now ready for our question and answer portion.
Ayan. So thank you so much, Ma'am Vanessa, for sharing your insights, your knowledge to every parent joining us today. As a speaker, as a one who listens to you, your expertise is really of great value to this webinar because I know that a lot of parents are now listening and now taking some notes kung ano yung mga strategies, kung ano yung mga dapat nilang gawin while dealing with their children in times of pandemic. But before we proceed with our Q&A portion, we will first present you a video presentation sa mga viewers natin dyan out there about what JMC is having right now during COVID-19 pandemic. So please watch this video presentation we prepared for everyone.
To attenuate the spread of COVID-19, most governments around the world have mandated quarantine. Our educational institutions are never the same. This is the new normal, and the Jose Maria College believes that learning never stops. With the advent of technology, we are now opening a more innovative virtual learning experience. In response to this crisis, the Jose Maria College brings you the 2 instructional delivery options.
No virus can stop our assured, consistent, and quality education. The Jose Maria College, under the leadership of its founding president, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy holds true to its mission to provide quality education amidst the ongoing crisis on COVID-19. To ensure that all learners will get the best learning experience, the school has crafted two learning delivery options. Option 1, online delivery. Students who have a stable connection to the internet shall undergo full online classes via platforms such as the Google ecosystem, Zoom, and an online learning management system. Online classes shall be held by our competent teachers on a daily basis. All interaction shall be via online, as there shall be no face-to-face interaction in order to keep you safe during these trying times. Option 2, self-paced learning. For students who see it as a challenge to secure a stable connection to the internet, the school shall be providing modules and other instructional course packages. Students will work on these learning materials and from time to time may need to send their academic work online or discuss their progress with their teachers via email, chat, or video call on a scheduled time. They may attend online classes when their internet connection is stable enough for them to do so. Education goes on for the Jose Maria College. Your future, our mission. Enroll now. For more details, visit us at www.jmc.edu.ph.
Don't let COVID-19 stop you from achieving your dreams. What are you waiting for? Enroll now. For more details, visit www.jmc.edu.ph.
Ayan. Okay, so I guess may mga comment or reactions ba tayo dyan na napopost ng mga viewers natin through our FB Live or di kaya mga questions na pwedeng sagutin ng ating guest speaker for today? Ayan. So once again, Ma'am Vanessa, thank you so much, Ma'am, for... okay! From Jovi and Trinidad, thank you for giving us more informative and practical ways to deal with our child. God bless. Ayan. From
God bless
Sharon
you po.
Monreal. Yes, this is really informative, di ba? And this is really timely kasi maraming mga parents na sobrang busy, hindi na nila na bibigyan ng time yung mga children, di ba? Di ba, Ma'am Vanessa?
Yes po, I understand po the when I prepare this, I have your emotions in mind. I empathize with you. But however, I cannot overemphasize the need talaga to be more intentional. So that's why I focus on just structuring kasi ang dami-daming pwedeng gawin to to handle, like ang maraming advice ganyan. But ang akin, mas malaking help sa inyo yung structure niyo yung araw nyo. Set a healthy routine and, that's a good start. That's where you start and then from there, you can see where you can adjust, you can improve. Kumbaga yan po talaga yung pinaka madaling gawin, pinaka practical, and I think doable for many busy parents.
Yes, of course. Actually, ma'am, I'm not a parent right now, but I feel like I'm a parent kasi I'm having now a niece, and then parang timing din for me to learn to learn and to listen to this kind of webinar kasi ang dami ko natutunan actually. Ang dami ko nang pwedeng i-apply on how I handle my niece at the age of pag magti-3 na siya, ganito pala dapat i-handle ang kids. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, but saka I also like to add na many parents then or many adults around children expects too much from the children. So We have to
Yes.
consider their developmental level, age nila, pero a lot of kids then are not really meeting their developmental milestones yet. So yung iba medyo delay. So kaya importante na aware tayo ano yung ine-expect natin sa ganitong age, and then kapag ka parang oops yung anak ko or yung pamangkin ko parang hindi pa niya na-reach yung ganong skill level, laging yung wag niya laging parang i-hope na ma-outgrow niya lang yan. Maybe in 3 months time, ma-okay na siya. Don't trust chance, ganyan. So, you have a lot of professionals around you na pwedeng makatulong sa'yo. So, get intervention. Kasi may effect siya sa pag-develop ng personality ng bata when he grows up. So, kagaya ng mga pinresent ko kanina, na parang, doon pala galing yung kaya ayaw niya na mag-try, mukha siyang tamad. Hindi naman dahil tamad talaga siya. Baka kasi, nung younger siya, lagi siyang napuput off kasi busy yung parents
Yes.
niya with work. So, para hindi na lang ako magta-try, hindi na lang ako mag-i-initiate kasi hindi ako pinapansin eh, 'di ba? So, I'm not saying na kasalanan lahat ng parents. Kaya nga nandito, salamat sa JMC na you gave me this opportunity, yung advocacy natin na to be developmentally appropriate for children. So, thank you sa platform ninyo na hopefully
Yes.
mas maraming na-reach yung information na ito. Kasi like you can search it naman sa internet, pero mahirap siya like i-concretize or ma-understand. So, it has to be really coming from someone na who's been practicing it and applying it. Ayun.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Kasi one statement from Beth Chai Cans, I am not a fan of practicing corporal punishment.
Yes po. We understand po ang hindi naman lahat nagwo-work din sa corporal punishment. That's why it's important na alam mo, kilala mo yung anak mo kasi not all children ay magre-respond sa corporal punishment. So if I could just share, one of the kids that I'm seeing currently right now, ang issue nila is yung paggamit ng gadget ng mama niya. So parang ang lagi niyang ginagamit. Tapos pagka kinuha na ng mama niya kasi may work, 'di ba? May work from home, tapos yung tatawag yung boss, ganyan. Hindi makuha ng mama niya sa kanya. Magtatantrum siya, mananakit siya, maninipa siya. So ngayon, yung mama, syempre, ang concept niya is paluin ko din para maramdaman niya kung ano yung sakit, 'di ba, ng pinapalo. Pero nangyayari, nagpapaluan lang sila. So parang power struggle. Papaluin siya na anak niya, papaluin niya yung anak niya, papaluin niya. So gantihan. So hindi effective. So hindi effective para sa anak niya yung corporal punishment. So what we did now is that I noticed kasi that the child wants attention from the mom. So parang gusto niya laging kasama yung mama niya, ganyan. Yan yung gusto niya mangyari. So sabi ko, ganito na lang po, hindi effective ang corporal punishment sa kanya. So here's what you're going to do. We're gonna set the expectation na ang time niya to use your phone is 1 hour. So after 1 hour, may alarm kayo, may pinaset ko siya ng alarm na pag tumunog yon, kahit kalagitnaan ng laro, kukunin niya yung gadget. Pero may matik kami, like, bago matapos yung 1 hour, i-remind na siya, malapit na matapos yung 1 hour, 10 minutes na lang, 5 minutes na lang. So, parang may reminder, may gradual reminder. Para yung bata, hindi na siya magsa-start ng new game. Parang, patapos na yung time ko, so hindi ako magsa-start ng new game. So, yun, di gana naman, pagkuha nung gadget, so, nanakit na naman siya. So, ang sabi ko sa mommy, ang gawin po natin, ang consequence is that, matutulog siya mag-isa sa kwarto. Kasi lagi niyang gustong kadikit yung mama niya eh. Like, excited siya kasi pag nagtrabaho the whole day. So, nilook forward niya yung magkasama sila sa kwarto, nag-uusap sila, magkasama sila, physically, magkatabi sila, ganyan. So, yun yung magiging consequence is, hindi siya papaluin, pero iti-take away yung something na gustong-gusto niya, which is to be with the mom. So, yun. After that, nabawasan, hindi ko pa masabi na successfully hindi na siya nananakit sa mama niya kapag hindi pinagbigyan yung gusto. But at least significantly nabawasan. Kasi ang nagmamatter sa kanya yung attention. So kung papaluin mo pero walang meaning sa kanya yung pagpalo and sanay na siyang pinapalo, hindi siya effective. So yun.
Yes. So yun nga, parang we should always remember to set a healthy routine. Yun talaga yung pinaka parang nagbigay ng buhay and how we should manage our kids well.
Yes.
Always
And
set.
also pala, if I can add, no, if you set
Yes,
kasi
ma'am.
a routine, may natural consequence yan. So, for example, hindi niya natapos yung pagkain niya. So, maybe sinet mo na after eating, playtime, after playtime, maybe snack time, after snack time, gadget time. Kunwari ganun, pag bata pa kasi hindi naman
Yes,
hectic ang
yes.
schedule ng bata. So, kung hindi siya matapos kumain, hindi siya magpo-proceed sa playtime. So,
Hmm.
natural consequence siya kasi hindi pa siya tapos eh. So, kung all the more na
Kailangan
i-delay
niya
mo yung
i-finish.
yes, kailangan niyo finish. So, kung all the more na hindi mo tapusin yung pagkain mo, o di hindi tayo magpa-play, o di hanggang mamaya ka lang dyan sa upuan, di ba? So, natural consequence. You don't have to always, set a consequence. When you set the routine, there is a natural consequence. You cannot move forward. So, yun po.
Yeah. So again, so lahat ng mga sinabi ni Ma'am, may comment pa tayo. Aside from Ma'am Milrose Huarana, aside from extrinsic motivations, what are the intrinsic motivation we can possibly use to motivate young learners?
Mm. Okay. So, intrinsic na motivation na pwede natin. Okay. Depende po sa edad ng bata. So, kung nasa school age na siya, we can explain na para saan siya. Like, ano yung magiging application nung whatever subject na yan when he's older. So, yun lang. Medyo mahirap siya pag kunwari math na like mahirap na mga fraction. So, parang kung ayaw niya matutunan. So, paano nga explain
Yeah.
kung para saan siya. But in general, if you explain to the child what is it for when he becomes an adult, that's usually helpful. Okay. And
Okay.
then, always, 'di ba, when you provide positive praises, that's actually external, pero extrinsic. But when there's a repeated na positive na binigay ka, na parang positive ambience, positive na tone, uh, and syempre ayaw mo, like, sino bang bata na gusto niya napapagalitan? Sino bang bata na parang
Yes.
nadi-disappoint yung parents? So that is one thing na you can emphasize na if you don't want struggle, okay, you have to do what you have to do. Parang yun. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question.
Yan. So, ayan, another comment from Jean Soriano. Thank you for helping a parent that will attain structure, making that easy or doable for parent-child relationship, giving a result a win-win during this pandemic. Sana po makabalik ulit kayo po. God bless po. More blessings to you. Yan.
Ay,
Thank you so much.
God bless din po sa inyo. Thank you po.
Yeah, thank you. From Ma'am Jenna Gorjun, thank you for the additional tips to us as parents. God bless us all. God bless din, Ma'am
Yes
Jean.
po.
And lastly, from Ma'am Gingging, thank you po, Ma'am Vanessa and JMC. Very informative and it can help us a lot. And thank you so much po sa lahat ng mga nag-comment na nagbigay ng question. In behalf of Jose Maria College, the Office of the Guidance Center, and the IBED Department, Ma'am Vanessa, we would like to extend our warmest gratitude and appreciation through this certificate. Ayan, let's view our certificate of appreciation. Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway sa Davao City. Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to Vanessa Guinevere B. Tan Ibanez for sharing her valuable knowledge and insights as guest speaker in the webinar entitled Parenting 101, Managing Our Kids' Online Activities. Given this 20th day of February 2021 at Jose Maria College, Philippine-Japan Friendship Highway sa Davao City, Philippines, signed by Head of Guidance Office, Maria Eloisa Estrera, our Director, OSAS Director, Sir Dennis Arlazarte, our IBED Principal, Brian Alberto, and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Josefina Ortega. And once again, thank you so much, Ma'am Vanessa, for joining us today. And I hope we can still reach you out for our future webinar.
Yes, it's
Thank
my
you ulit,
pleasure
ma'am.
it's my pleasure to be
Thank
part
you.
of this. Thank you everyone. Thank you
Thank you
JMC.
po.
Magkita pa po tayo ulit.
Yes
So,
po, that's for sure. Magkikita pa tayo soon.
Thank you
Ayan.
po.
So sa mga, just a short reminder sa lahat ng mga nanonood dyan, to please don't forget to fill out the registration link and the evaluation link na maibibigay namin sa comment section. And please write down your complete name kasi yung complete name nyo dediretso na agad sa certificate, and then the certificate will be forwarded to you through the email you have forwarded through those links. So ayan, ito yung certificates natin sa mga participants, Certificate of Online Participation for virtually attending the webinar entitled Parenting 101, Managing Our Kids Online. So ayan, thank you so much for the viewers. Ayan, so we are now on the end part of our program. To formally end this webinar, may we request Ma'am Jocelyn de la Piedra, the IBED guidance, the guidance IBED department facilitator, for a closing prayer.
Let's bow our heads and feel the presence of the Almighty Father. Almighty Father, creator of heaven and earth, we bow to you and give you praise. Thank you for this wonderful morning that you have given to us. We truly appreciate, O God, the great honor of participating in your work of creation. As parents, we beget children bringing to the life of this world. Thank you, Almighty Father, for the success of this webinar, for the insight that we get from our active and awesome speaker, Ma'am Vanessa. After this webinar, we ask you, loving Father, to complement this signal honor with a sense of responsibility. Teach us to realize that parenting is a vocation requiring great sacrifices. Make us realize that our obligation as parents involves not only nurturing our children physically and emotionally, but also educating them. We need your constant reminder that we are the primary educators of our children. We must ensure that our children see in us the values of sincerity, loyalty, spirit of service, patriotism, compliance with a respect for authority, and a host of virtues in all of our actions. We can only teach them through a good example. Finally, loving Father, to complete the work of your creation, teach us to fully participate in the education of our children so that we will be contributing not only to the welfare of our family, but also to our community, our country, and to society as a whole. I give back all the glory and honor, thanksgiving to our Almighty Father, our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you so much, Ma'am Jo. So ayan, again, this is your host, I'm Ariel Desades, saying to please take care of yourself and stay safe. And see you on our next episode. Bye, everyone.
That ends another substantive discussion on JMC EduTrends, produced by the Jose Maria College Communication Affairs Office. On behalf of our founding president, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy, thank you for being with us. Join us again next time for another interesting, inspiring, and transcending discussion on JMC EduTrends. Bye everyone, and keep safe.